to hold a news conference any minute now about a multi-state murder investigation. Now, Eberhardt has been charged with killing a Georgia woman, Kristen Lehman. Now, it's a complicated case, so here's what we know so far. Police say Lehman was last seen alive on September 23rd of last year, getting into an elevator in the middle of the night at a resort in North Myrtle Beach. And that she went there with Eberhardt. Now, detectives say shortly after that, the two got into a fight and Eberhardt reportedly killed Lehman. And the next day, he drove her body to DeKalb County in Georgia. Now, North Myrtle Beach police say after a months-long investigation, detectives and Georgia authorities arrested Eberhardt in Georgia just a few weeks ago on March 3rd, but they still hadn't found Lehman's body. Now, Eberhardt was extradited back to North Myrtle Beach, and just this past Saturday, DeKalb County police found what they believe is Lehman's body. Now, police say they are still waiting for confirmation from the medical examiner, but there are still a lot of questions surrounding this case. But today's news conference is expected to answer a lot of those questions. And again, that is scheduled to start at around 2 o'clock p.m. WMBF News has crews there right now. This is a live look inside. This is at North Myrtle Beach as we wait for that news conference to start. But some other details that we learned about this case. Police documents show Kristen Lehman's daughter, Lauren Blaylock, reported her missing in early October. Now, Blaylock told officers Lehman wasn't using her bank or paying her bills, and her calls were going straight to voicemail. That report prompted an investigation by police in Duluth, Georgia, where Lehman was from. In that report, Blaylock described Lehman as a, quote, chronic substance abuser and said she usually, quote, drifts around. Now, again, a lot of unanswered questions, and we should learn as soon as this news conference begins. And again, here's a live look there. We are just waiting any minute in North Myrtle Beach for a press conference to start about a multi-state murder investigation involving this man right here, Bernard Eberhardt, and he's charged with killing a woman from Georgia. Her name is Kristen Lehman. Again, there's a lot of questions surrounding this case. There's a lot of information. It's a pretty complicated one. And just to recap, if you're just joining us right now, police say Kristen Lehman, was last seen alive on September 23rd of last year, getting into an elevator in the middle of the night at a resort in North Myrtle Beach, and that she went there with this man, Eberhardt. Detectives say shortly after that, the two got into a fight, and Eberhardt reportedly killed Lehman. The next day, they say he drove her body to DeKalb County, that's in Georgia. North Myrtle Beach police say after a months-long investigation, detectives and Georgia authorities worked together, and they arrested Eberhardt in Georgia and just a few weeks ago on March 3rd. But they still hadn't found her body up until this point. Eberhardt was extradited back to North Myrtle Beach, and just this past Saturday is when authorities in DeKalb County found what they believe is Lehman's body. Now, police say they are still waiting for confirmation from the medical examiner. A lot of questions here, a lot of questions. And again, today's news conference, that's what we're waiting for right now. Our reporter there right now is Ian Klein. He's behind the camera, and we are waiting to see who comes out to speak and address some of these questions. Some other information we have learned about this case is Kristen Lehman's daughter. This is according to police documents. Lauren Blaylock reported her missing in early October. Blaylock told officers Lehman wasn't using her bank or paying her bills, and her calls were going straight to voicemail. Now, that report prompted an investigation by police in Duluth, Georgia. That's where Lehman is from. And it looks like we're getting ready to get started, so we are going to go right to that news conference and listen in.
Started. Good afternoon. I'm Officer Pat Wilkinson with the North Myrtle Beach Police Department. I'm the Public Information Officer for this department. Thank you all for being here. Unfortunately, we are here to explain an event that tragically resulted in the loss of life. Our intention of this press conference is to inform the public of both the facts of this case and the exceptional work done by our Criminal Investigation Division and assisting agencies. Please understand that we are limited in what details we can provide due to this being an ongoing investigation that is also pending court proceedings. These details include anything of direct evidentiary value. In regards to questions, we advise towards the end of this conference when it's time for the questions, please wait for this time to ask. At this time, the Chief of the North Myrtle Beach Police Department, Chief Kroll, will make some opening remarks.
Thank you, Officer Wilkinson. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We are here to provide information and answers to questions in reference to the arrest of Bornold Eberhardt in connection to the death of Miss Kristen Lehman. After months of meticulous investigation, our dedicated detectives have worked tirelessly to ensure justice will be served in this case. Before I ask our investigations lieutenant, Mike Swarthout, and his team to provide you details of this arrest, on behalf of the men and women of the North Myrtle Beach Police Department, I want to extend our sincerest condolences to the family and loved ones of Miss Kristen Lehman during this difficult time. While nothing can ever fully heal the wounds left by this incident, we hope that the arrest of Mr. Eberhardt will in time bring a sense of closure and justice to Miss Lehman's loved ones. This arrest would not have been made possible without the assistance of several agencies throughout throughout South Carolina and Georgia. I want to extend our gratitude to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the DeKalb County Sheriff's Department, the FBI, the Newton County Sheriff's Department, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, the FBI, South Carolina, the Horry County Solicitor's Office, the Gemma Body Recovery Team K-9s, the Horry County Sheriff's Department, and the Horry County Police Department for their invaluable assistance in this case. At this time, I will ask Lieutenant Mike Swarthout to provide you with details of this incident.
Good afternoon. I want to start off by offering my condolences to the friends and family of Ms. Lehman. Very, very sorry for your loss. On November 8th, 2023, the North Myrtle Beach Police were contacted by the Duluth Police Department regarding a missing person. The victim, Kristen Lehman, had not been heard of since September 22nd, 2023, and her last known location was at 410 South Ocean Boulevard in North Myrtle Beach. North Myrtle Beach detectives were able to verify that Ms. Lehman had come to North Myrtle Beach on September 22nd and was accompanied by Bornold Eberhardt. Further investigation revealed that an argument occurred between Ms. Lehman and Mr. Eberhardt in the early morning hours of September 23rd. Ms. Lehman is last seen alive entering an elevator at 2:12 a.m. on September 23rd. Detectives have reason to believe Ms. Lehman was murdered in the early morning hours of September 23rd. On September 24th, Mr. Eberhardt leaves North Myrtle Beach in the rental car that Ms. Lehman rented and returns to DeKalb County, Georgia, with Ms. Lehman's body in the back of the vehicle. On February 27th, 2024, after a thorough investigation, detectives were able to finally obtain an arrest warrant for Bornold Alistair Eberhardt. On March 1st, 2024, North Myrtle Beach detectives traveled to DeKalb County, Georgia in preparation for the arrest of Mr. Eberhardt. On March 3rd, Mr. Eberhardt was taken into custody by the DeKalb County SWAT team. Mr. Eberhardt was extradited back to North Myrtle Beach on March 8th, 2024 by the Horry County Sheriff's Department. On March 9th, DeKalb County Police located what is believed to be Ms. Lehman's body in the 1800 block of Whitehall Forest Court. At this time, we are awaiting confirmation from the DeKalb County Medical Examiner. I would like to take a second to thank some members of my team, Sergeant Will Norton, who not only leads the division, but is also our resident electronics expert, the case agent, Detective Andy McCarter, who lost a lot of sleep over this case and worked relentlessly on it day and night, Detectives Nate Sansucci and Chris Bellamy, who along with Detective McCarter and I made the trip to Georgia to help execute the search and arrest warrants. These folks went above and beyond the call of duty and took time away from their families to help bring some closure to Ms. Lehman's family. Thank you all. And now I will take questions if you have any. Bear in mind that this is still an active investigation in several jurisdictions, so some questions cannot be answered. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know the relationship between Ms. Lehman and Mr.
We know, let's see, I actually prepared an answer for that one. From what we could tell, they might have had some type of intimate relationship, but they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. Sir?
What hotel was she staying at?
They were staying at 410 South Ocean Boulevard. Yes, ma'am?
How do you spell Ms. Lehman's first and last name and plural? How do do you spell his first and last name?
Bornold is Bornold, and it's Kristen, let me just verify it here, Kristin, Layman, Laymon. Yes, ma'am?
With her being last seen in the elevator, can you tell us what was on the surveillance video that they saw?
No, I can't release that information at this time. Sir?
You said you had reason to believe that she disappeared that night. Is there any details that you can provide on that reason specifically that led you to that, knowing she disappeared that night?
Well, that's the last time anybody has spoken to her. And there was no further communication with Ms. Layman after that time period.
What led the Georgia police to contact you guys? How did they trace it back to North Myrtle Beach?
Detective McCarter, can you answer that quickly?
So the victim's daughter had access to her mother's email accounts, and they were able to see that there was a reservation for the hotel at 410 South Ocean Boulevard. So that's how they knew that they traveled here on September 22nd, 2023.
Yes, ma'am?
How old was Miss Layman?
Ms. Layman's date of birth, let me keep it accurate here. I believe she was born in 1970. About 53 years old. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
Do we know the cause of death yet for Miss Layman?
No, the autopsy is being conducted in DeKalb County tomorrow morning.
How were they able to discover the body specifically?
Can't really talk about that due to the ongoing investigation. Yes, ma'am?
Were they sharing a hotel room?
Yes. Yes, sir?
How difficult are these cross-state line investigations for you and your team in terms of trying to make sure each person taking their jurisdiction, obviously it's at different parts of where things happen, where the body was taken, things like that?
Well, I can tell you, I've been in the Investigation Bureau about 6 years now, and this is the most complicated investigation I've ever been involved in. There were thousands of manpower hours put into this. Sir?
Miss Lehman's daughter, was she familiar with Mr. Everhart before all of this turned up?
She knew of him. She didn't have any type of personal relationship with him. Yes, ma'am?
You said the autopsy is being conducted tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you know around what time?
I do not. I believe it's in the morning time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am?
I know you mentioned that there was a fight that occurred early on the 23rd. How do you know about the fight?
I can't really discuss how we came up with that information. Thank you. Sorry.
Was she going up the elevator or down? She was last seen.
She would have had to have been going up. She was on the ground floor.
So it was like she was going back to, well, you don't know where she was going. She was going from the ground floor up.
It appeared as if she was going back up to her room.
Was he on that elevator with her?
No.
Is there other ways that the body could have been removed from the hotel to the car without going through the same elevator?
In order to protect the integrity of this investigation, I can't comment on that.
We'll take one more question.
Yes.
There's a lot of gaps in between the dates
Yes.
of this entire investigation. Had Georgia reached out to you guys first, had you guys had any tips from the North Myrtle Beach side? Were they the ones who tipped you off? Then can you kind of walk us a little through about why there were so many gaps between how long this took, something happening in September and an arrest happening?
Well, we didn't originally even know about the case until that November 8th date, as I was talking about. And then these investigations, especially when it just started out as a missing person, there's a lot of steps that have to be taken, a lot of warrants that have to be issued, search warrant-wise, and sometimes these things just take a while to come back. And that would explain the gaps. As soon as we had enough information to get an arrest warrant for Bornold, we did.
So have been charges filed against him yet?
Yes, he does have an active murder charge. Yes.
Are there charges in Georgia as well, do you know?
No, they're here.
All right, everyone, thank you so much again for being out here. Like I said, keep all those involved in your prayers, and we will release further information as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, that was a live news conference with North Myrtle Beach Police with new information in a multi-state murder investigation in the death of a Georgia woman. Her name was Kristen Lehman. And Bernard Eberhardt, this man right here, is charged with her murder. Moments ago, North Myrtle Beach Police shared its condolences to Lehman's family and revealed Lehman and Eberhardt were in a relationship, but clarified they were not boyfriend and girlfriend. They also said the resort where Lehman was last seen was Club Wyndham in North Myrtle Beach. Lieutenant Mike Swartout called the case the most complicated investigation he's ever been a part of. And I will break down all of the new information we learned today, as well as have a closer look at what is next in the case with our live team coverage all evening long, starting on WBF News, first at 4.